Arsenal flying on all fronts, and it is time for us to talk about it on the Dispatch. Of course, I am Frimmy, and next to me, as always, Josh James. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a big week, isn't it?
It has been a big week. A lot of games and 2 big wins.
Yeah, 2 more wins in the bag. 2 big games coming up this week, and the women's team are coming back at the weekend. So lots to talk about. We had a couple of trips, didn't we? You and me?
Yes, we of course went to Brighton first, and then we headed off to Mansfield. It was the first time you've been to Mansfield?
It was. Yeah, it was a bit different, wasn't it? I enjoyed it.
Man. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like those like smaller stadiums, and like the crowd will really.
Yeah, the atmosphere is good. It's what we expected. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure you were there because you were so quiet on the way up. I didn't hear a peep out.
Yeah, it was early, and I was snoozing. Man, you could see the bubbles coming out my nose. I was absolutely gone. You didn't fall asleep?
No, by the time I was up, I had. You know what? When I got home, I did crash eventually. But no, I was on the way there. I was enjoyed the trip up, and we'll get into it a bit later. But the Brighton game feels like a long time ago.
Yes,
but that was a big night as well, wasn't it?
Of course, I did a away day diaries for the Brighton game. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later. But big news off the pitch: the new app has launched. Yeah,
big week on and off the pitch. Yeah, the new app is launched. Lots of content on there. So much content that we're going to have to get in Jan, I think, today to talk us through it, because I can't keep track of it all. There's so much been landing in the last week.
Yeah, lots happening. And of course, the new doc is dropping with Martin Odegaard, modern leader. You had a big part to play in.
I did a few of the interviews for that. It feels like a long time ago. It's been such a long time in the making, that documentary. We spoke to so many different people. Yeah. I was involved in some of it. A lot of work has gone into that. It's just great when something like that finally hits the screen and we can show everyone, show the supporters what we've been working on. So yeah, we'll get into that as well. We've got a few little promos for that we can show as well.
Yeah, so the only thing that's coming out, of course, we've got other documentaries coming out, and even like random shows as well. But we're going to get into that all later. So let's get into it now.
Let's do it.
Right, so we'll get into Mansfield, but before then, we had a big game against Brighton. I mean, you went up, and what a game that was, man.
What a night it was, because of what happened as well elsewhere. Feels like it was a really significant night, wasn't it? And the atmosphere and everything, it sent us to Mansfield in a good mood. But you were doing an away days, weren't you, at Brighton? Down at Brighton?
I was doing another away days, which was really good. I was able to basically walk around the stadium as well. Got the supporters coming in, which was, they seemed really like up for it as well. Like, it's the first time I've gone up, and they felt really confident going into the game. And then got into the tunnel. Saw Danny Welbeck.
All right, yeah.
The Brighton players came really, really early. I feel like they were in the stadium before we got there.
It did feel like there was a big build-up to this game, and their supporters bought into it, which made it all even sweeter, didn't it, when we got the win? But
it was quite a nervy game to the end. I feel like everyone then turned to their phones and heard the City score. They dropped points, and the atmosphere after they heard that went absolutely crazy.
We are top elite, we are top elite.
Yeah, it's funny because we were sitting in the press box, and it's quite tight. So there's 2 press boxes actually at Brighton, and we were in a sort of lower one, just quite near the dugouts. And just right behind us was Martin Keown, who was working for TNT on the night for broadcast. But he wanted to, I think they can choose if they sit pitchside, and he wanted to come and sit with us in the press box. And he was sitting with Dan Tolhurst, our comms man, and it was like a co-commentator having sitting behind you, because he was just chatting the whole way through the game, like he was covering it for TNT. And then when Nottingham Forest equalised against City, I turned around and told him, said, it's 1-1, and he's like, I don't want to know that. I don't want to know. I'm getting too nervous. And he's like proper in supporter mode.
It's crazy how much of a supporter
he's like, I don't want to know. But then in the second half, when they made it 2-2, he tapped me on the shoulder and said, it's 2-2. And I said, I thought you didn't want to know. I thought you didn't want to know. I guess I can't help it. And then, like, the last 15 minutes, he's just, we need to get the ball in the corner there. And it was great, because it was just like having the sort of behind the scenes of basically how every supporter is acting. And then their floor manager came up about 5 minutes to go, said, okay, Martin, we need to go down. So the floor manager basically coming up to him to say, get ready for your post-match, be on screen. He said, I'm not moving. it was a superstitious thing until he knew the score of the other game. But because that game went to injury time as well, they said, "You've got to go now." And he's like, one more minute. He didn't want to move. You know how it is. Like if you're in the seat and it's a tense finish, you don't want to move. So he was absolutely like 100% in supporter mode. And then it came through, I reckon about a minute, like it was all the players were on the pitch, weren't they, when the final whistle went for the City's game as well. So it just gave that extra sort of layer of a few more smiles post-match for our post-match interviews that went out. But, it's still, that's, as I say, that feels like a long time ago because that's last week and things move on quickly and it's just, that's done now. Got to keep going and look forward.
It's mental because we were getting the information about the other scores was one supporter that was just shouting it. And I think he was like trying to shout it to like David Rao and he's like, David, it's 2-2, go for it. It's like, okay, what? It's 2-2, okay, cool. And we kept, me and actually the camera man over here, Dan, because he was sat next to me, he was checking the score with me, which was quite crazy. And the fact that the atmosphere after when we found out the score and all that stuff, mate, it was just so
it just made it more tense, didn't it? So we were already tense. We were like, we're 1-0 up in this game. There's only one goal in this. I'm sort of writing my match report, but also don't want to actually write it until I know what the score's going to be. Just as an extra layer of tension. But meant we went to Mansfield in a good mood, didn't it? So ready for the FA Cup.
And that was good, man. Mansfield was never been there before. It was an experience, man.
It was really a little bit different to some of the games we've been to. But I mean, it was so great because they're big day for them, obviously. The atmosphere there as well was one of, like, I could overhear a lot of the local supporters saying, "What do you think today?" And they're like, as long as it's 0-0 after, as long as we're still in it, just... And I don't think they had massive expectations. Yeah. And then when the game kicked off, because we were sitting, because there was so much more media there than usual, it sort of overspilled into the stand. So we were sitting there with our laptops literally on our laps, no press box. So we were right amongst the Mansfield fans. We could hear all what they were saying. And then they started the game really well, didn't they? Yeah. And they were like, that we can do this. And they grew into it. So, it was a great game in the end. Yeah,
I was sat pitchside just behind the away supporters. And obviously, I think at the Emirates, because we have that little track, but then they're behind, they're sat in their seats because they can't really get to the boards. Yeah. And everyone just took advantage and just stayed at the boards, hoping like a player would come over to them and get a glimpse. And I was getting a lot of people coming up to me and chatting to me, and it was quite a cool experience. I miss stadiums like that sometimes. Sometimes you kind of want to go back. I mean, I love the Emirates. It's a great place. But what I loved about the Mansfield Stadium, that in the concourse they had like a Arsène Wenger quote, and it's, if you don't believe you can do it, then you have no chance at all. And I thought that was quite surreal. Like it was funny. That was the first thing that we saw when we walked in as well. Yeah,
it was almost like they put it there for us, wasn't it? But they had obviously that was how Mansfield approached the game as well, because they played with a lot of belief in that, especially in that first half. They were maybe took us by surprise, really, how sort of open they were and how many actual chances they had, how many shots they had, and then we needed that goal from Noni, didn't we, just to settle us down in the first half and take the lead, and then it was a bit different. But it was interesting that we saw that first of all. And you were trying to think, you were saying, what links does Arsène have with Mansfield?
Has he been here before? And it's like, no, he hasn't. I was like, oh, okay.
Not as far as I know, but maybe he had. Maybe he popped in and motivated
maybe hung up himself.
It was funny because I think, as you're talking about the sort of the magic of the FA Cup and that sort of atmosphere, obviously Mikel Arteta knows about that. Played in this country before, managed for a long time now. Some of the players wouldn't have been aware of it as much, but I think they all bought into it. I mean, it was beforehand. It was almost like the sort of pantomime villains. We arrive, get off the bus, and it's like boo, boo, and then the next breath is, "But can I have your autograph?" It was really, it was done in the right spirit. It was, these are the big guys coming from the Premier League. But we still want your autograph. That's all right. And the players obviously bought into that, and that's part of it, isn't it? You don't know where you're going to go in the FA Cup. You could be away to Man City, you could be away to Mansfield, you could be at home to anyone. That's the magic of it.
I remember when they were coming off the coach, I think one of the owners, Carolyn Radford, she knew all of their names. Like, she knew all the stuff. Like, she was saying, "Welcome to Mansfield, Nicholas. Welcome." Like,
really?
Yeah, she knew every single one of their names. So you could tell that they were excited to have us here.
Yeah, and on the pitch, obviously, got the win, which is all that counted, and a few more records broken. Max Dowman, the youngest ever FA Cup player for us.
What a game he had, man. There's one run he went on. If he had scored
the second half, when jinked through. He did have a few chances, didn't he? I mean, he was so involved from the first whistle. 2 16-year-olds playing, because obviously Marley started as well. It's the first time a Premier League team has ever fielded 2 16-year-olds in any competition.
Oh, really?
And the first goal, Nonny's goal, great goal, was our 100th goal of the season. And we've scored that 100th goal. I mean, we've done it the last four or five seasons, reached 100 goals, but we've done it a month earlier than we did last year.
Is that a record? Or?
Well, the rate we're scoring at is a record. So we're scoring at 2.2 goals per game, best for 70-odd years. Another victory, 36 wins so far this season, which is the most we've had for more than 10 years, and that's a complete season. That's not at this stage of the season, it's a complete season. And we're only 5 away from having the most wins we've ever had in a season already, and we're in March, so we've still got 2.5 months to go. Hopefully we can overtake that record, but it just goes to show that we've won every game that we've played outside of the Premier League, so that's in the Europe and Cups, every game we've won, and the win percentage is 78%, which is the highest ever in the club's history. So a few positive stats to come out of it.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed myself at Mansfield, at the Cobb. So obviously we like our food on the road.
Yeah, that's part, of it.
We kind of judge every club by their food, and I feel their one was like a burger van.
Yeah,
but they gave us like a little voucher, and then it was called the Hot Cobb.
Hot Cobb, yeah.
Hot Cobb counter.
Local delicacy, I think.
Yeah, brilliant. It was like bacon, hash brown. You had a choice if you wanted mushrooms or tomatoes. I didn't go for the tomatoes.
You could have it all if you wanted, all in there.
But mate, it was good. It was a good bacon sandwich. I ain't gonna lie.
Was it a Bovril place or no? It was a bit early for Bovril, wasn't it?
You know what? I actually didn't look for any. I didn't look, but then they didn't have some in the press.
You nearly called it press lounge, which I guess was an old classroom. And again, because they're not used, I think there were 40 media there that day, which they just would not have had before. So, there was tea and coffee.
Tea and coffees, man.
It was everything we wanted. I mean, they really looked after us. I know that they had a few extra staff on as well from the day. A guy came in from Ireland to come and work. I think he was working there last year. And they said, we need you here for the day. So, it was, everything went well in the end because we got the win as well. So it was, as you say, good day out. Look forward to the quarterfinals now.
Yeah, and next, of course, by Leverkusen tonight in the Champions League.
Yeah, and we've got Jan on the show in Content Corner, and he'll be heading out to Germany. So, we'll speak to him about that in a bit, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. If you haven't downloaded the new app, The Arsenal, I advise you to do so because we've got loads of exclusive documentaries. I think even the podcast is going to be on there very, very soon. I think it's on there now, actually.
Yeah, it's on there. It's all on there.
Everything's on there.
Yeah, hello. Gianluca is in the building, social media editor. Hello, mate. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I thought
that was the best way to introduce me.
Yeah, fair enough. Of course, you're here because you know lots of what's going on the app.
I do indeed.
And you're going to tell us about all the things that are coming on.
Yeah, the Arsenal app launched officially last week. So we've got the link up.
Oh, yes, the link up. That's when Bukayo links up with... Well, the first episode is...
Him and Thames, Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Thames at the Abbey Road Studios, famous Abbey Road Studios here in London. And this is an opportunity for Bukayo, who's, you look at him, he's got a lot about him, hasn't he, Bukayo? So he gets a link up, pardon the pun, with a lot of mavericks, shall we say, people within culture, people within music, fashion, film, just gets to chat to all of them about what it's like to be on the other side, what it's like to be a footballer, but then he gets to ask the questions about what goes through their minds as well. Lots of Arsenal supporters that get to do it as well, so that's really cool.
From that first episode, he didn't know who Celine Dion was.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's minus points for Bukayo, isn't it?
I should have educated him, to be honest.
You should have sung My Heart Will Go On straight into Bukayo. Yeah, we should have done it.
And whatever exclusive stuff we've got.
So we had Only in the Land, which is our AWFC documentary, which charted the rise of us winning the Champions League for the second time, where we had an exclusive all the way throughout the season, never behind. We don't really do that behind the scenes footage as much, but we were able to get into the dressing room, get to into all the different viewpoints that maybe necessarily supporters don't really see. Sometimes we don't see as well. And it was a 4-part documentary series that aired earlier in the year in January across our social channels and our website. But now we've got a special just focuses on the final. And Jen Beattie, who obviously Arsenal alumni, was here for so many years, narrates the whole documentary as well. So there's an exclusive Champions League episode that is going to be there as well. Really or should we say an extended episode of us winning the Champions League?
It's crazy because I think we met Jen at the final as well. I think she was there doing some other work. It was great to see her again because when she left, I didn't really get to say goodbye. Yeah. And then actually, no, I did see her again when we went to America.
That was the year before. When we went to LA.
Yeah, that's when I saw her. Yeah, and then we saw her again.
That was when you were rubbing shoulders with Justin Bieber, wasn't
it? Didn't want to bring that up.
I can't believe we've gone all this way on the podcast without you talking about you and Justin Bieber. I didn't want to bring that up, but, that's why I got him on the show,
Yeah, you have to tell me about that another day.
But yeah, absolutely did a great job narrating that doc. What else is on?
Yeah, so got Martin Odegaard's documentary, which our very own Josh James worked on quite considerably. You went out to Norway as well to do a lot of the planning and meeting his family and everything. So it's talking about how he's our captain for both club and country, isn't it?
Modern leader is sort of sums it up because it's about his style of leadership. And again, it's like so much of this content that's just landed on the app has been months and years in the making. I mean, you mentioned the women's team documentary. Obviously, that was started at the beginning of last season, and so much of this content has been planned and executed by so many people in the media team and beyond over a long time, and it's all coming together now. So yeah, for the Martin Odegaard documentary, it's all sorts of people we spoke to, including his brother and his best mate growing up, a guy called Marcus, and his brother Christopher, so I went out to Oslo in June, I think it was, at the end of the season. Norway played Italy. I'm sure you remember this, Jen.
Not very fondly.
World Cup qualifier.
Lost 3-0.
Norway won 3-0, and so we were out there to speak to his brother and his best friend before the game, and then walk to the stadium together and reminisce about Martin, who captained the team that day. And I was in the press box, sitting in the press box watching it, and the locals were like, "This is our greatest result ever." And I mean, the atmosphere in the stadium was unbelievable. It was brilliant.
Bouncing, weren't they?
And to hear the locals how much they love Martin Odegaard. We did a few vox pops with the supporters as well, and you could just sense how much everyone loved him, respected him. And so to be able to do that sort of from the inside and to speak to his brother, and like, you must be so proud. And they're like, it's unbelievable. Grow up with him, and it's just your brother, he's your best mate, and now he's the captain of Arsenal.
And also tells your story from like when he was so young, like came into the public eye really quickly, didn't he? Like went to Real Madrid at such a young age as well, and then having to grow up in different countries.
In front of the cameras.
In front of the cameras every single time,
And his best mate was funny because just in the middle of the interview, just dropped in and goes, because I was always an Arsenal fan growing up. I was like, you don't have to say that. And he goes, no, I was an Arsenal fan. And I said to Martin, like when they were kids, wouldn't it be great if you played for Arsenal?
Wow.
And he's like, it was 10 or 11. I was like, and he just dropped it in the middle of the interview. He goes, I was an Arsenal fan. So, it was great. And did a big sit down with Martin himself as well during pre-season to get his thoughts. We spoke to lots of his teammates. Noni, Mikel Merino was one of the greatest. He's such a great talker. He's such a he's got such an insight because he played with Martin. That's right. When I was alone, when he was like the senior guy, if you like, and then he said, "And now I've got this other side where I'm older, but he's the captain. He's my captain." He goes, and it's funny that I think back to those times in Spain. I recommend watching that. I think it's nearly 40 minutes that runs too.
Great. So it flies by though because it's just one of those ones where it just keeps you engrossed all the way through, doesn't it?
And it's as you said before, it's like this new angle that we haven't really been able to do before, and that's what the app is. The Arsenal is allowing us to do is to go a lot deeper into a lot of this content.
And it's not just football that we're touching a lot of the time as well. Dating. The Peter and Diane episode, which is the first episode that's currently live on the app right now, is absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's bringing together obviously supporters of Arsenal Football Club and trying to match them up in the best way that they possibly can, and it gives them an experience all unparalleled behind the scenes on match days where they get to have a date while watching the game, because for all of us as Arsenal supporters, that's like the dream, right? You're sat in Emirates Stadium, getting all the food you want, meeting potentially the love of your life as well at the same time, and it's just unfolding for yourself in front of all the cameras. But if you haven't had a chance to watch that one, definitely do, because
some of the meals that they were getting, I'm like, these are like echelon, bruv.
Really?
Is it on a par with the Cobb at Mansfield Town?
You know what?
Or the Bovril when you normally get that.
It depends on how you feel. Sometimes you want to greasy. Sometimes you want to.
Don't want to go over the top when you're at football.
Fine dining with Frim. That's what it should. Oh, that's another new title.
Write that down. Make a note of that.
I'm writing it down right now.
You guys are really trying to work me, Mike. Oh my days. What other exclusives or do we have?
So we've got a couple more. So we've got King of Highbury, which talks about Charlie George, obviously so famous, growing down the road.
The train's quite cool where he's like walking down like his market.
Yes,
Market Road.
Recognised. I mean, he for people who don't know, he was an absolute superstar in the 70s. Scored the winning goal in the cup final in 1971 and came through the ranks. So everyone loved him and still hangs around. People will see him. People will know him. He does tours still. He's still around the club.
Match days as well. He's always around here.
Absolutely. And that's the great thing about the app. You mentioned we've got from Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, the women's team, dating shows, and Charlie George. There's something something for everyone. There's so much on there that it's going to take ages to get through it all.
Absolutely. There's a couple more titles as well that we need to talk about. So Gunner Girls, which is a sort of just like a coaching experience where you've got like Lotte Woodman-Moore, Leah Williamson coaching the next generation of youngsters trying to make it. So that's hopefully dropping in the next couple of weeks. And then one thing I really want to talk about, because it features my favourite Arsenal player of all time, is Raising the Bar with Declan Rice. So he's going to have a sit-down interview with Thierry Henry, of all people. Obviously, my favourite player of all time. I'm sure Frim's as well. No, you said Dennis, actually. No, Dennis is yours, I mean, it's not bad.
Henry's second.
Henry's second. Oh, well, hopefully he's not saying that. So that's my top three, to be fair, as well. So a real nice sit-down interview between the pair of them. So that's launching next week. We've got a trailer coming out on our channels on Thursday as well. So it's going to be, full on from here. And it's going to be great because this isn't just the content that we're doing right now. There's content that we're filming right now behind the scenes as well at the club that we can't really talk about at the moment. But we've got a sizzle reel, which we can show people a bit of a flavour about what's going to be coming up on the app, what's we've currently got on there as well. So do you want to take a look?
Yes, take a look.
What is it that you're really looking for
with Mikel Arteta?
I don't think we got the gaffer today.
As I've got older, people still remember me.
Dating history, it's rough out here.
I actually went on a date with Spurs fans once. I know.
You don't know who Celine Dion is?
No. You know who that is?
A very common message is never give up, but it's true. Never give up.
Being a young girl, finding like-minded people was priceless.
Never been so confident stood over a ball.
It's Declan Rice again! Oh! What a goal from Declan Rice!
Everyone in the stadium knew. From the moment I could walk, I wanted to kick a ball around. It was always just there. It was a part of me and my life since I can remember.
Oh, that was just a flame.
Oh my God! Stop this right now, stop.
But I was like, Arsenal have been talking about you. I was like, what?
Victor Gyökeres is off the mark!
Let's take you back to the very first days at Arsenal.
And live content as well. So
yes, live content as well. So we've had yesterday, I'm sure everyone watched, was our Bayer Leverkusen training at Schober Realty Training Centre before the guys flew off to Germany. So we get around 15 minutes of able watch time, and that's within Champions League times and also Premier League as well. So a couple of times throughout the month, we'll have those live training sessions from a men's perspective, hopefully from the women's as well. And it will just be a chance for everyone to watch what the guys are up to. You're not going to see the tactics-based stuff, but you'll be seeing when the players walk out, any of the interactions they have, any juggling, any sort of like skill sets and all that come with it. So it's it's great.
Can't be having the tactics on there. You have other clubs on there. Just what's going on there?
Yeah, exactly.
But so it's, I guess also people watching the games, if they're not at the games themselves, they can obviously be multi-screening. A lot of people do now, so it's good to have that as well.
So live offering in terms of commentary, in terms of training, but also in terms of meeting and listening to the players, because we've got a women's club day later today. Nicole Holiday is going to be fronting our live from Schober piece with a special guest alongside her. Frim, normally you do it, but you're not around later today.
Yeah, I'm going to a stag do.
Priorities.
Brilliant priorities.
Oh man,
but talk to us what live from Schober is normally like.
It's actually quite fun. So sometimes we have games on the table for the players to get involved in, and then we just ask them how they're doing, because listen, they're not all just about football. We want to get to know the players players as well, and sometimes they have some interesting things to say about how they're feeling about going into the season, or what type of music they're listening to right now, or they're eating at the moment. So it's nice fun, to get them on the couch and just have a little chat.
Yeah, it'll be our first official live one because we've done a few test runs so far, so that's going to be great, and looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like on the app later today.
It's going to be good. But like you said, you're off to Bayer Leverkusen.
I am
tonight.
indeed, yes. Going to be great.
Yeah?
It's going to be a new stadium for me. Josh knows that I always like ticking off new stadiums. I ticked off Mansfield Town with you guys on Saturday. Never been to Leverkusen.
Bayer Leverkusen, I don't think I have actually.
No. We played them in 2001, 2002 when they used to be the dual group stage. Remember that? It was like the first group stage and the second group stage.
Two group
then
stages.
It went to the knockout stage.
I remember coming to the home game. I think we won convincingly at home. But yeah, I've not ticked that one off. But I love watching football in Germany because the atmosphere. We've seen it when the German fans come to the Emirates Stadium. But
I remember when I went to Bayern. Bayern was really good.
Yeah, Bayern was class.
Yeah.
So this is my only second time.
Wasn't great at the end, but it was right.
No, but we're hoping for better. I mean, Bayer Leverkusen come into the game off the back of beating Olympiacos, who we normally play in the Champions League quite often. Earlier in the season, didn't we, here at Emirates Stadium, or Arsenal Stadium as we call it from a UEFA perspective. But they come into it off the back of a 2-0 win. I think in the Bundesliga they've obviously lost Xabi Alonso, Florian Wirtz as well, but 6th at the moment in the table. They drew 3-0 with Freiburg at the weekend. I think they come into it. They've only won, I think, one of the last 4 in the Bundesliga. So, but I think everything's off the table when it comes to the Champions League. Like when it comes to a competition, it doesn't matter what form you're in, because on the night you've got those 2 games, and at the Bay Arena as well, they're going to be absolutely rocking in terms of the supporters, and it's going to be a really good test for our Gunners. I think we've obviously come through unscathed quite a bit. 8 out of 8, amazing. It's the first team to ever win 8 out of 8, obviously in the new format. Finished top of the group phase as well, and having to come up a Bayer Leverkusen team that we can't take for granted, I think. And if we're able to get that positive result on the in the first leg, then it just stands us in good stead ahead.
It's a quick turnaround, isn't it? Because obviously it's Wednesday, Tuesday. It's only 6 days, and obviously we've got Everton in between Saturday. It, so it all happens. It all happens quite quickly. And Piero Nkapie can play, can't he? Because some people have been saying, because he's on loan technically from.
I wasn't too sure, but I think he can play.
Yeah, they've changed the rules over the last few years. So getting Piero, I'm sure it'd be like a nice homecoming for him to be able to go back and play in front of the Bay Arena crowd. But he'll have a point to prove as well to showcase what he's all about and show the good form. I think he's been brilliant for the last 6 weeks or so, and having to come in, he's played centre back, left back, all over the defence, because obviously we had a couple of players out over the last few games as well. So it's going to be some game for tonight.
Jan, thank you so much for giving us Content Corner once again. A lot of exclusives hitting the app.
Yeah, it's busy time, isn't it, for Jan and Content Corner? But we'll see you when you get back from Germany.
It's always a busy time. Thanks very much for having me, guys. Remember, if you haven't downloaded the Arsenal app yet, get it on every single device.
We have got a big week. The women return and they face the London City Lionesses, and of course the men have Everton on the weekend too, and live from Shoba in the afternoon.
Yeah, later today that is. So tune in, download the app, download the Arsenal, make sure you're watching that. The women's team return, as you say, in the WSL after internationals.
I feel like we've got an exclusive with you next week, right?
Next week we've got the small match of a cup final to look forward to. So yes, I spoke to Mikel Arteta. Okay. So we'll have some of that on the Dispatch exclusively.
But that's all the time we have. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do at wherever you get your podcasts. And these are being filmed, and you can head over to Arsenal.com and the official YouTube to see our beautiful faces. And now it's on the app.
It's everywhere. It's on the Arsenal as well.
You love that. So guys, we shall see you next week.